and welcome to South Fork Water Board. My name is Katelynn and I manage the Regulatory Compliance Department at the plant. South Fork Water Board is a conventional surface water treatment plant. We pump our water from the Clackamas River, and a conventional water treatment plant has a series of processes that you will see on this tour. Those processes are coagulation, flocculation, sedimentation, filtration, and disinfection. South Fork Water Board has been providing water to the cities of Oregon City and West Linn since 1915. This plant that we are about to tour today was built in 1957. We serve about 70,000 customers, so if you are ready, we can begin our tour. The first process of a conventional water treatment plant is coagulation. We have a state-of-the-art fish screening system at our intake facility that prevents fish or other debris from entering into our drinking water system. Immediately prior to coagulation, we pre-treat the water with sodium hypochlorite, also known as chlorine. Adding chlorine to the start of the process helps to eliminate microorganisms such as bacteria, viruses, and protozoa that can cause illness to humans. We will add chlorine again at the end of the process, but adding it at the start of the process will allow enough contact time for the chemical to be in contact with the water. In the actual coagulation process, we will inject two chemicals into the water. These chemicals are MagnaFloc and aluminum sulfate. These two chemicals act as flocculating and coagulating agents in water. A coagulant agent will promote the fine particles in water to clump together to form a larger particle that we can settle out later in the process. An important thing to know is that our facility uses NSF-approved chemicals. These are food-grade chemicals that are safe for drinking water. This is the flocculation process. After the water leaves the coagulation process, the water flows to what is called our serpentine basin. Here, the water is allowed to slow down to be able to give the water time to be in contact with the chemical. The flocculating agent that we added will help the fine particles in the water to come out of suspension and into the form of what is called a flock, or a clump of particles. This flock will become heavy enough to eventually settle out in the next process. This is the sedimentation process. After the water leaves the flocculation process and the flock has been formed, the water then flows to the sedimentation basin, where the flock particles are heavy enough to settle out. The sedimentation process takes about 3.5 hours. By the time the water reaches the end of the basin, the particles have dissipated and we are ready to collect the water for the final process of filtration. This is the filtration process. After the water flows from the sedimentation process, it flows to our 4 filters. Before the water reaches the filters, we add another chemical called filtrated polymer. The filtrated polymer is going to act in 2 ways. The first is it is going to strengthen the bond between the particles so that that particle does not break apart as it passes through the filter. The second is it is going to create a coating over the filter so that the particles will adhere to the filter. The filter is comprised of media, a dual mix of anthracite coal and silica sand. After the final process of filtration, the water flows to the clear wells. The clear wells are covered large storage reservoirs where water is stored and where the addition of post-chlorination occurs. Surface water treatment plants are required to disinfect the water before leaving the plant to ensure safe drinking water. We also add another chemical called sodium carbonate, also known as soda ash. Soda ash will create a coating on the inside of the pipelines in the distribution system to prevent them from corroding and prevents leaching of lead and copper from household plumbing. This is the Operation Control Center where we monitor the processes of the plant. We do that with the use of a SCADA system. SCADA stands for Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition. With the use of SCADA, we can start and stop pumps, adjust the flow through the plant, make chemical adjustments, and monitor reservoir levels. One interesting thing about South Fork is that we make our own sodium hypochlorite, or chlorine disinfectant. We do this with the use of a sodium hypochlorite generation system. To put it simply, The system makes chlorine by using salt, water, and power. The system works by passing a brine solution, which is salt water, through electrolysis within these cells. Electrolysis is when an electric current is passed through a substance to effect a chemical change. The benefit to this system is that we can make on-demand low-strength chlorine, and we eliminate the risk of having high-strength chlorine delivered to our facility. This is the laboratory where we perform our state-required water quality sampling. We are required to test the water every 4 hours, but we test the water every 2 hours to ensure we are staying on top of our treatment process. We test the river water, the water within our treatment process, and the water being delivered to our customers. We test the water for pH, turbidity, chlorine, and temperature.